Hey guys, so Dragon Ball Super Divers, the successor to Dragon Ball Heroes, is now out in Japan. The game came out a little over a week ago, so they changed all the arcade machines out from the Heroes arcade machines to these new Super Divers machines. I mean, you could definitely tell there's a massive difference in the overall quality of the actual arcade machines itself. The lighting is way better, it's way bigger, it's way more just... it's more immersive. I think everything about the actual arcade machine itself is just way better with Super. It just feels more modern at the end of the day is what I think they were trying to go for with this shift out of Heroes and into Super Divers. But I actually went to the Game Center. That's what they call arcades here, Game Centers, to do some playtesting of this game. We did try our luck at some of the cards as well. The way you pull cards in this game is you don't buy packs. I mean, they do have packs, but the majority of cards you get through just putting money into the arcade machine, and then the arcade machine spits out the cards that you... it's one card for 100 yen, so you get one... typically when you play the game, you just get one card per play. Or you can just buy cards by itself without playing the game. But so we're going to show some clips here of the game, and the first set is... the story is focused around the Saiyan Saga. That's how they wanted to start this game off with, I guess. So we're going to jump into this. I did a playtest of just like the first stage of the Saiyan Saga story, and we'll go through some of those, some of the things that happen in the play itself, and I'll show you guys how the game works. I did also sort of learn how the avatar system works and some of the different systems in the game as well, so we'll go through some of that too. All right, so we start off with just buying some cards here. Again, if you don't know how Heroes works, I just explained this, but the way you get cards in this game is you don't really get them from packs. I mean, there are packs that exist, but the majority of cards in this game you get from just putting money into the machine, and then on the bottom there, the cards get dispensed out of the machine. So I did try and get some good cards here. The one thing I noticed is that the rates are very bad. So we'll see if they improve that in some way, but all right, so we got that. So here's some of the system descriptions. We got some power crystals, and what these are for is you use these to upgrade your in-game systems. Like we have the diver's watch, we have different accessories you can get from Bulma, and they cost a certain amount of power crystals. We can learn super attacks, we can increase our experience, we can increase our watch application box space, which is what I choose here. But every time you essentially put money into the machine, you get these power crystals. So here's us just upgrading our box space with this. So that's what this is. And then after you've done either a battle or you've purchased cards, you can get experience as well. And that increases your avatar's level, obviously. And there's actually a skill tree in this game, which is not something that existed in Heroes. So here's our accessory box. So it's showing us we got that accessory so we can continue. And then this is the avatar experience screen, and they're running a 2x experience campaign here. So we actually are going to level up to level 16, and you'll see that we get a skill point to use in the tree, which is going to pop up in a second. There it is. I don't really think as of right now there's any like you have to choose between one skill or the other. You kind of just go through the whole tree. Like this is the tree that I have available to me right now, and it starts off going to the left, and then you just buy the skills with your experience that you have. So we're gonna go ahead, but this is increasing the amount of ki you have at the start of the fight is what that is. So I guess just additional ways to power up your avatar. I'll be interested to see if later on when we get to higher levels if you can actually like customize your avatar. So we ended up buying a lot of cards, and actually bought we essentially drained the machine of the cards. So this is essentially the screen of them trying to restock the machine, and then while that's going on, I got some footage of like the entire machine. So this is a good I guess look at what the arcade machine looks like now, and you could just tell. I mean, if you've seen the Heroes machines, this is far super like it remains to be seen if this game is better than Heroes, but in terms of just the aesthetics and how the machines are, the quality, this is much better. It's very obvious, but it looks overall just very good here. All right, so we're gonna head into what they call the history dive in a second. This is essentially the story mode of the game. So we're going to head into the history dive mode. And of course, like I said, the Saiyan Saga is the way that they're starting off. this game, essentially. Here are the different stages we could choose. They actually do have a little bit of like a story recap here, the Saiyan Saga. It's much more in-depth and, again, aesthetically pleasing, and there's a lot more effort put into this than they did for the Heroes. I think they called it the Age missions in Heroes. These are way more fleshed out and look way better. Like, they even have like these cut-ins. Everything's, well, not everything's voiced, but most of it is voiced, so... this is definitely, again, just quality-wise way better than how Heroes was. Here's like, we're in the time machine heading into the history dive here. So we're just going to do the first stage against Raditz. This is essentially like you start the game and this is the first stage that you do. So we'll just do this. You know, it gives us like a decent fundamental understanding of the basics of the game, which I think is the entire purpose of what this video is anyway. So this is a good way to start things off with. We're going to just jump into the first Raditz stage here. There is nice animations. Goku and Gohan on Nimbus going to Kame House, so we kind of get the scenario playing out here as well. This is, again, something that they definitely did not have in Heroes. The Heroes literally just showed like the two silhouettes of the characters. Basically, the Heroes story mode is essentially just the Dokkan story mode, where it's just like two sprites of the characters side by side talking to each other. This is like way more fleshed out. Yeah, I like how they utilize the different screens to show the interactions here. And there's Gohan, and then it's going to pan to a different screen. Yeah, obviously Raditz is taking Gohan away. So, I mean, you can tell they definitely put some effort into this, which is nice. Telling Goku's got to kill 100 people by tomorrow. And recapping the story here. And then it's going to take us to the screens, the team building screen. You can actually customize your super attack, which is what I'm doing here. You can change your super attack to anything else you've learned so far. Because I've learned a few super attacks. Like, I actually switch it to Big Bang Attack here. And then it asks you to build your team. So I'm going to just use 7 super rare cards that I got from my pulls. So this is going to be like a full super rare team. So we're going to put our cards on the machine. Our team is not thought out at all. I just took 7 super rares that I thought looked pretty cool, and we're just going to use them. I wanted to make sure they're also different characters, just to see a bunch of different characters in the game, how the models look. So we're going to go with Cell Games, Gohan, Hit, Kaioken, Goku from the Saiyan Saga, Perfect Form Cell, Third Form Frieza, and Broly. Base Form Z Broly is our team here. And then that Vegeta. I don't even know what Vegeta that is, but it's a Vegeta, and we didn't have a Vegeta on the team, so I chose Vegeta. So there's our team. I don't know if it synergizes well. I don't know anything. We're just going in with these characters. They're all super rare cards. So super rare is not the highest rarity. It's super rare, then God rare is the highest. And there's actually God rare parallel, which is like alternate art God rare, which is like the highest rarity in the game right now. So here we go. I mean, I did a video talking about the basic systems in this game before, but essentially the way this works is there's 3 zones that are split between the 3 screens. And each zone has their own hero energy, essentially from the Heroes system, if you guys know what that is. I'll pan down in a second so we can sort of see the layout here, but each zone has their own energy. So you can see that one on the left is 5, one in the middle is 3, and the one on the right is 5. And you can move the characters around to the different screens to increase or decrease the energy, and that's dependent upon how much ki you're using from each character. So you can see it changes. Now it's 4 and 4 instead of 5 and 3. Obviously, each character is going to have their own abilities that influence things like that, how much your energy you're getting, what your stats are going to be. Here's where some of the abilities come into play here. And here's where we measure our battle power levels. So we have a higher power level than the opponent, so we get to go first. We attack first, what that means. So I don't think we actually have any super attacks active right now because we did not have enough ki consumption to increase our energy to high enough levels to get super attacks. Each card has their own energy level that they require to launch supers, and I just don't think this turn 1 we're able to get many super attacks active here. So even if we win, we're not going to launch supers. The Dokabaki, or Charge Impact is what they called it in Heroes. Definitely a little bit, I think, harder in this game just because the angle is weird. Like, we're not used to being angled like that, like diagonally. We're used to just being across the screen, and it gets bigger and smaller. I kind of like that better, I think. I'm not a huge fan of the way that they do it in this game, but we'll see. All right, so we got Hit attacking here. By the way, every time you win the Charge Impact, if you aren't going to be super attacking, there's a chance you get a follow-up attack chance, which I think we actually get here. Yeah, and then you just mash the red button, and then you just follow up. And you do a bit of extra damage on that. Now we're going to attack with our third crew on the right side. Yep, we have the Frieza and Goku and Vegeta team here. Oh no, it's Frieza and the Avatar and Vegeta. That's what it is. Alright, we got a perfect, which I don't think actually matters as long as you win. Some characters and heroes had different effects if you got perfects with them. Like if you got a perfect charge impact, you would like get more power or whatever. So that'll probably be something they implement later. Now we have a special action here, which we're going to actually choose Hit to do this with. This is definitely one major difference between this game and Heroes, is for these special actions, they used to call these card action abilities in Heroes, basically what that is in this game too. There's a lot more interactivity that you have to actually do with the cards, as opposed to Heroes, you would like move it across the screen like one time and it would be done, but this one, like you'll see. So we got to move it across in the middle. That's step one. Now we got to move it from the right side to the left side. Now we got to move it on the left side, like in between those two zones. Now we got to move it from the left to the right in like a big sweeping motion. Now we got to move it to the left and the right in the middle zone. And I think it's up and... No, and then it's again the same thing. I think we do up and down next. That's what it is. Yeah, now we can move it up and down in the middle zone. So there's a lot more interactivity with like doing each motion with this. So that was that interaction there, that interactive ability there. You know, not bad damage, 2,800, sure. And then we get an extra 1,000 guard for hit. All right, now Raditz is going to be attacking, so we're on the defensive end now. Because this is essentially like the beginner tutorial stage, they intentionally make it almost impossible to lose these. But if you see in the bottom right hand of your corner of the screen, Raditz has the super attack symbol up. So if we were to lose the charge impact versus Raditz here, the clash against Raditz here, he would actually launch a super attack, and we would probably take a lot of damage from that. Or I don't know if we would, but there's a thing called here's the transformation. It's called Awakening. So we have 3 transforming characters on the team. We have Broly, Gohan, and third form Frieza. So we're going to see transformations from all these guys here right now. You can actually have 3 of these guys do this at the same time, which is not something that we saw in Heroes, actually. So Broly transforms to Super Saiyan, Gohan transforms to Super Saiyan, and then Frieza's going to transform into Final Form Frieza. Yep. There was something called ki damage in Heroes, which is when you attack somebody with a super attack. Depending on how much ki they had, you could actually stun them. And I'm pretty sure that's also in this game as well. So if Raditz had super attacked us there, potentially we would have gotten stunned. But all right, you can see we have a ton more energy here because we're continuing to consume ki, and also our power level is very, very high. We have what, is that 78,000 power level? So there's almost no way we lose this and go second. So it's 78 versus 20. Yeah, so obviously we're gonna go first here, and I think we're actually gonna be able to get a super attack in with Gohan. Because he has enough ki, and you can tell in the bottom left in a second, the super attack symbol is going to be flashing. Yeah, see that like orange symbol in the bottom left? That means Gohan can launch super attack. Otherwise, as you can see with Broly's is not lit up. I assume Broly just takes more energy to launch his super, which is why his is not active. He might actually take 10 energy to super, which is pretty high. But we're going to get the Kamehameha here, and that's going to be Gohan's way to finish off the opponent, and then that will be our victory. And then I think you'll also just see a quick outro as well. There's an outro story sequence, which we had in Heroes as well, but this is obviously more fleshed out here. So there we go. That was essentially just a standard battle. We won in 2 rounds, so pretty fast, but again, the tutorial stage. But that's really how the game works. The main difference between this and Heroes is that this game has 3 zones as opposed to Heroes just has 1 zone. There were like no ways to differentiate between where you were attacking the opponent, like different abilities. This definitely does seem like a more... Yeah, here's the outro scene with Gohan just like headbutting Raditz. This definitely does seem like a more intricate game system, battle system than Heroes is, because there's 3 separate zones. There's probably going to be characters that interact differently with each zone depending on the abilities they have as well. So this could get pretty convoluted, I think, for an arcade game, but we'll see what direction they want to take this in as we move forward with Super Divers. So that was essentially my initial playtest session for Dragon Ball Super Divers. Pretty interesting. I mean, it's hard to really gain a deep understanding of the game just from playing one session. I'm gonna have to go back to the arcade and do a few more sessions and experiment with different modes and different cards and figure out the best teams to use. But overall, I think it's definitely, I mean, aesthetically, it's infinitely better than Heroes. I mean, Heroes is a super old game, so it makes sense. The fact that there's 3 zones, I think, adds for a lot more different, unique mechanics they can introduce for each card. Maybe you have certain cards that are good in Zone 1 and stuff like that, has better cards in Zone 2 and 3, and different mechanics, like depending on what zone they're in. Different mechanics in terms of the card action abilities, which, you know, we only have a few in the game right now, the different change mechanics. So I think there's a lot of room for this game to grow, and you know, I think the actual game itself seems interesting, but only being on set 1, it's hard to say exactly how good it might end up being. The one issue with the game, and I might make a separate video just going through some of the cards that I got, I've seen a lot of Japanese players complaining about the pull rates, and I definitely felt that too when I was trying to pull for some of the cards in the set. Specifically, the God Rares is the highest rarity in which you're really aiming for when you're trying to get certain cards in this game. But the pull rates, you compare directly to Heroes. I mean, everything that comes out in this game is going to be directly 1-to-1 compared to Heroes, because this is literally the successor to Heroes. But the rates are really bad, and there's been a pretty big outcry, at least from what I've seen, about the pull rates of the cards in this game. So we'll see if that's something that they address moving forward with the second set, which probably is going to be after New Year's. But again, I might make a separate video talking about that. But overall, my initial impressions for Super Divers, honestly, it's pretty positive. Are there things that they need to change and adjust? Absolutely. But for the first ever set in the game, I think at least the foundation of the battle system and how the game works, I think, is pretty positive. So we'll see what the future holds for Super Divers. Let me know what you guys think of this video. Definitely something a bit different, but hope you're able to join anyway, and I will see you in the next one.